The Digital Photography Cafe show is brought to you by Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool for your camera, and by ShootProof, the easy way to proof and sell your photos online.
Welcome to the Digital Photography Cafe show. Join hosts Trevor Curran and Joseph Christina as they chat about the art and business of photography.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the show. This is episode 111. I'm Joseph Christina here with my co-host Trevor Curran. On last week's episode, we demoed GIMP 2.8, talked about Facebook supporting hashtags, looked at Samsung's new mirrorless Android camera, and asked the question, does your camera define you? If you haven't watched last week's show, I encourage you to do so. You can find it at our website, digitalphotographycafe.com, in iTunes, listen with the popular Stitcher, TuneIn, and Xbox music apps, or watch in HD on TiVo.
Yes, so we are back, Joe. How you doing, my friend?
Good.
Yes.
Another day in beautiful, sunny Florida.
Yes.
Paradise, man.
Paradise.
110
degree paradise, right?
Absolutely. How's everything up there?
Everything's good. We're having some hot spells up here, which is good. I got the pool up last week. Got it all filled up, so the family's been slowly getting in there to swim. When we got the water off of the truck, because we have to truck it in. We can't fill it out of the hose, It just wouldn't happen.
Right.
So when that water hits the pool, it's all of about 55 degrees.
That sounds great, Trevor.
Yeah,
that sounds like a good time.
Yep. So we had to wait a few days for it to warm up a little bit.
Yeah. Down here, it's like, you go into the ocean and the water is like pee. It's just it's so hot during the summer. So, but yeah, so you just don't have it as hot. I don't think you have it hot, but it's a different kind of hot, and it doesn't stay that long.
No, we have spells. You just have constant heat.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyways, Instagram, right? They got 5 million video uploads on the first day that they went live with that whole thing.
That's a lot. That is a lot. On last week's show, episode 110, we talked about Instagram announcing their new video feature and all that happiness, and people were really excited about it. I mean, there was a lot. 5 million video uploads in one day. I bet their servers were getting hammered.
That is a lot.
That is a lot.
That's good. I mean, Instagram's got the name, so photos to video. It's it's media, right? Multimedia is multimedia, and that's the whole thing. And the same thing with us as photographers out there. We have kind of been meandering around multimedia for a long time. At the very beginning is we would do photography, but that would be it. You'd do photos and that was the end of it. Now, all of a sudden, we're turning those photos into maybe a slideshow for a bride, or maybe we're taking those photos and now turning it, it's constant multimedia stuff, So yeah, I like it.
Yeah, it's all good. Very good.
Absolutely. Some new stuff, some other stuff, of course, Canon, right? Last show we were talking about ad campaigns, and we were saying, what's going on with Apple, right? Why are they're falling just off a cliff with their ad campaigns? Their ad campaigns, they used to be second to none. People would wait, for the next Apple, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC thing, or whatever. It was just fun, and it was just, it was good times. They did a great job. Now all of a sudden it just went silent in the Apple camp. As far as the ad campaigns are just lackluster at best, they're just kind of awful. Much. Now Canon, right? They have a new ad campaign.
Yeah, this is print ad, I guess. Print ad campaign.
Another, right. And of course, it's now, what are they doing? They're taking a swing at smartphones, right? Because they're losing money. Market share is going down it's going down the toilet. So they got to do something.
That's right. Yeah, Canon and Nikon. The major camera manufacturers are starting to feel the slip in market share with their point and shoot lines because of smartphones. Sony and Samsung, of course, they both make smartphones as well as point and shoots. Right. So, they're good either way. They'll make their money on one end or another, But Canon and Nikon, they don't have a player in the phone market. So now that they're seeing their market share slip away, I guess Canon's feeling threatened enough that they're coming out with this new campaign, and I don't know. It's their tagline is "Don't let a call interrupt your photo."
Yeah, it's just, I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, we need to put that up on here on the screen. If you guys are watching, we'll throw up a couple of slides. But I mean, come on, Canon, really? I mean, call me. I'll come up with something better for you guys, because this is just,
Yeah, I mean,
really?
the whole strategy of your call interrupting your photo. I mean, let's be real. If you had a point and shoot camera out in front of you and you were about to take a picture and your cell phone started ringing, that would be a distraction to you anyway. And you'd be thinking to yourself, oh, should I stop taking this photo and pick up my phone? So I think that they're just kind of grasping at straws. They're trying to find a weakness in the whole cell phone point and shoot camera deal here, and this is the path they decided to go down. The photography for the ads that they used are they're okay, whatever. I'm not overly impressed. I mean, I get it. After I read the tagline, I get it. But looking at the photos without reading the tagline, they made no sense to me. They are very confusing.
You know what they are? I'm going to tell you. They are horrible green screen, blue screen, composites of crap. I mean, I don't even know what else to say about it. It's horrible. And from a camera, manufacturer to come up with these images to represent, or basically to kind of throw a wrench in, or to slow down, this type of the market, that whole entire smartphone market. I mean, it's just, I don't get it. I don't get it. No. I mean, the S4 with their camera in there, the iPhone 5 with their camera is definitely eating away profits of these point and shoots. And, maybe they're just not going to be able to make, 60 cameras a year or whatever
60
the hell.
different models.
Yeah. I mean, and no one knows what model does what, or what's, who's who. And
it's all more of the same.
It's all the same. And they change one little thing and now it could give it a new number. And it's just a mess, It's like they're going to need to tighten this up a little bit, or what's going to happen is exactly that. These, someone like Samsung's going to come around and throw in an APS-C sensor into a phone, and it's going to be end of days
really.
for point and shoots completely, because they can definitely do it. They could do it.
They could. So, this article that we found that kind of talks about the story, I mean, they did talk about the top 3 cameras now on Flickr. And for a while, iPhone was like the top one, and it really rumbled a lot within the photo community and with the photo manufacturers. But as of right now, the iPhone 4S is number 1, the iPhone 5 is number 2, and the iPhone 4 is number 3. But what's interesting,
it's pretty good, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, 3 iPhones in the top. But what's interesting is the Canon 5D Mark II and the Canon 70 are 4th and 5th place.
Yeah. So that just shows the market share, of the Canon line. 5D. I could see 5D Mark II because it's older and it's got, it's a little bit.
It's been
more
around forever.
Rooted,
a ton of people have
7D
them.
is So, but seeing iPhones, top 3, and then Canon DSLRs 4 and 5 on Flickr, I could see that. I mean, it makes sense. I don't know.
And I guarantee you the Samsung phones are going to be right behind them. And they are, in fact, with the S4 release and, of course, the S3 that's out there now, I mean, they're really going to be gaining a lot more market share, let's say.
Yeah, you're going to see those numbers are going to bump, and they're going to switch. I bet it'll be iPhone and Samsung S4 the next time we look. Next time you guys hear back from us on this topic, it'll probably be right up there. So so it's interesting, back to the whole idea of just, ad campaigns and how they're just, I don't know. Some people are getting it and some companies are not. Some people are doing stuff that's innovative and some people are doing more of the same.
Yeah.
And some of the companies that we wouldn't expect more of the same from are producing more of the same. And the people that we're expecting more of the same are producing like stellar stuff. And it's like, wow, what's going on here?
Well, that absolutely is the case with Windows and the Windows tablets. Windows, with their new Windows 8 tablet, I mean, they're really struggling to get market share over the iPad. And they've actually just come out with a couple TV commercials that are quite funny. I don't know if you guys have seen them.
Yeah,
But,
you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and play a couple of them just so you guys can see them. Hang in here. We're gonna get these things rolling because I mean, you almost kind of have to see it or listen to it to kind of get it. But hang in, here we go.
I'm sorry, I don't zoom like that. Ouch. Ouch. You can't put an SD card there, or there, or there. You can't do two things at once? That's cool. Oh, that's not cool.
That's right.
that's not cool.
That's good stuff. Oh, that's not cool.
That's not cool. Yeah. No,
I
it's
love
really
it.
funny. I mean, they're really doing a good job, and the fact that they're like, spoofing this whole Siri voice there.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's just insult to injury there, But see,
Yeah.
that is what Apple should be doing. They should be doing that type of stuff to pick up.
This is
that
what they
market
used to
share.
do with
Yeah. That
I'm
was
a
the whole
Mac,
Mac
I'm
and
a
PC
PC.
ads.
What
Yep.
is going on with Apple? I mean,
Well,
this is
kudos to
funny
Windows.
stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely not a Windows fanboy, as
Right.
everyone knows, but good job. I mean, that's great stuff. I love it.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to keep it, you got to keep it light. You got,
Yep.
ad campaigns. I mean, they're not the way they used to be, you need, so these days you need to make an ad campaign that wants to be shared. It just needs
Yes.
to be shared. It
Shareable
needs to be
content.
viral.
Yeah.
It needs to just want to go viral. Not that this ad's going to be viral or it's going to be, but
It's
you know
had
what?
a lot of views.
It's got a lot of views, and I'll share it, with a friend,
Yeah,
of
absolutely.
a family or whatnot, because it's funny. It's good stuff.
Yep.
Just like I used to share the, I'm a Mac, I'm a PC thing. I thought it was funny. It was good stuff. But yeah, I don't know. So Windows, Microsoft doing something right. Congratulations to you guys over there.
Yes.
Kind of cool. I like the idea, no, you can't put an SD card there or there.
I know.
It's just-
Ouch. I don't zoom
I
like
just-
that. Ouch.
you know,
I know.
I just like it. It's good. And the whole Siri voice, it just makes it even more comical.
Yeah.
On a more serious note,
Yes.
FTC, right? We love the FTC. We love regulation. We love people telling us what we can do, what we shouldn't do, how much we should do it, and how quickly we should do it. But the FTC, they kind of, let's say for the last week or two, I've been seeing this kind of going back and forth in the news. But the idea of a lot, I think it's, what is it about? At least a dozen or more search engines are receiving letters that are basically saying, hey, you need to distinguish better
Yep.
your results. We want to know what is ad and what isn't ad. It needs to. We need to be able. Our customers, the public, needs to be able to discern what is the difference between an ad and what's not. What's real and what's Memorex. It's
That's
a
right.
very interesting topic, right?
Yeah, it really is. If you've been, on Google over the last few years, you will see this progression because, now that, we kind of read the article and they bring it to the forefront, it's like, oh yeah, that does make sense. But I mean, if you remember back, the sponsored ads on Google, like at the top of the organic search results, used to really be broken out a lot more. But now if you look at them, it's basically the same font, the same size. What they do is they just put a light yellow background behind that search result. So what the FTC is saying is that that's not enough. That's not enough to distinguish it because, you're going to have some people that might have a certain amount of color blindness or are slightly visually impaired. And when they look at the search results, they're not distinguishing the paid results from the organic results. And is that a problem? I mean, it is a problem to me.
Yeah.
Like, I want to know what's being paid for and what is an organic result, but really more for the quality of the content other than,
absolutely.
I don't want to contribute to, a paid link. I mean, it's not really that.
Right.
But what I have found is that most of these paid links, these paid advertisements in there, the quality of the content is not there. I mean, if you're searching for something, it's showing you a site who have used certain keywords for their ad campaign because their site talks about that information, but that's not the
Exactly.
information you're looking for. And to me, that's a problem.
It kind of, it it kind of feels like to me, like for example, WebMD, just kind of calling them out. There's a lot of them that are like that out there. And you go there and you're trying to figure out, how to treat chickenpox or how to do, whatever it is. And you're looking through it and it comes up with some information. The problem with this is it's also a search engine. It's a search engine of basically,
it's a medical search engine,
medical helpful tips. But the problem with it is you'll look at it and all of a sudden you'll see that there's a response on, let's say, how to treat something, but then all of a sudden it's sponsored by a certain company, a certain medical company, maybe a certain drug, maybe a certain ointment, a certain something, right?
Some type of salve.
And now all of a sudden it's like, so, is this medical information, is it real? Is it more, maybe maybe it is good information, but how good and, how leaning it is this way or that way. I'm going to guarantee you, not only are they going to target, I'm talking about the FTC now, target Google and Bing and Yahoo and all the rest of these major search engines. I bet they're going to start targeting some of the smaller search engines. For example, like a medical search engine like WebMD, and say, okay, the data that you're giving, and this is search data that they're looking for that's supposed to, let's say, come up organically on how to treat something. Well, if this answer or if this method of treatment is going to be dependent on a product that is paying you to put that, in other words, product placement, to put that answer in there, it needs to be an indelible, it needs to be this big, it needs to be
huge. Yeah.
Like you were saying with the visually impaired, it needs to be, let's say, fluorescent red or yellow or something that really pops out, that someone that might be colorblind, that doesn't, cannot discern the difference between the ad and organic, results. Yep. So, I could see that. Remember, I am not a proponent of this because I don't really like the Big Brother thing. I like the idea that, if I want to go in New York and go buy a Big Gulp and, turn into a 300-pound guy, well, you know what? That's my God-given right. Give me my soda. But
don't try and regulate me.
Don't regulate it. But on the side, of that, these companies are huge, especially the pharmaceuticals, the medicals. They're making a ton of money, and they're making it on us by, let's say, putting out information that's supposed to be quote unquote non-biased, and it is heavily biased. If it is, that's fine. Just make it say so. Make it very evident. The same thing with the Google results, right?
Right. That's right. The blending of these ads and organic search results are both good and bad for the advertiser. The good side of it is that more people are clicking on it. So it's good for them because they're getting more traffic through there. The bad side is more people are clicking on them and they have to pay for this unqualified traffic. These basically accidental click-throughs, and that's a problem. But so how does all of this relate to your photography business? Did we just go down a rabbit hole here?
Right.
If any of you have been involved in pay-per-click advertising, especially when it comes to the idea of local search, we've talked about it a million times on the show. Local search is becoming huge. Mobile phone, people are out there, they're searching all the time. And they're using geographic location to display results. So again, if somebody's on their mobile or somebody's on their desktop and they're searching for a photographer, Google will show results first for photographers who are geographically located near the searcher.
Right. Google is basically taking your IP address and then associating that IP address with a region. Then coming back with results based on that quote unquote region. And they can kind of shrink that region down. But sometimes, I'll get search results for Miami and I'm actually like 50, 60 miles away, just like if I was there. And that's just because, let's say, the IP address that my ISP pulled out of the hat for that specific connection is a Miami connection instead of like a Palm Beach connection. So, but yes, local search is probably by far where you need to be. That should be number one. The whole idea of SEO and getting yourself, ranked in the search engines, it's kind of going a little bit, to the wayside a little bit. And people are really starting to focus these websites based on where is their business coming from. And if you're a photographer, chances are your business is not coming from Bangladesh and it's not coming from, another state over. It's coming from local to you. So it's very important.
Right. Yeah. That's right. And being involved with pay-per-click advertising is not a bad idea if it's part of your overall marketing plan. Right. And the advantage of it is, you can start ranking up at the top of the page for certain keywords based on geographic location. Right. That's a great idea. The blending that the FTC is saying that's happening with these paid and organic search results could have been very beneficial for you if you were doing that, because it doesn't really stand out at the top that it is a sponsored ad, and not as obvious. That's what they're saying. Now, if Google really cracks down and changes this and really blocks out these sponsored ads at the top, if you're running pay-per-click campaigns, you very may likely see your traffic drop.
Yeah, there'll be a reduction in that click-through.
Yep.
It will definitely happen. You'll end up with, let's say if you're at 3%, you'll end up at a, 1.5 or something like that for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that's right.
But listen, Trevor, that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing, because at least it's more qualified. And then you're actually paying for what you're getting. You're not getting this. So the search engines are going to hate it, but you might actually like it, because you're not, you're paying for more qualified clicks and not just paying for these people that haphazardly click on this because they can't discern the difference. So,
right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. At that point, they will have actually read the ad, read the description, and know what you're all about. And if you're a photographer who's local to them, who does weddings, and you've got somebody searching for a wedding photographer, then, great. Then you're going to get the results rather than those accidental click-throughs that you're going to end up having to pay for. So definitely something to pay attention to. Yeah. And I would say, work pay-per-click campaigns into your overall marketing plan, but really focus on building and developing a quality website. We always talk about the blog, putting quality information up there that talks about your local area, your local region. Mm-hmm. That is going to be more beneficial to you in the long run than pay-per-click campaigns. Absolutely. Because you're going to get those real organic search results for free, just for doing quality work.
The easiest way to do that is talk about major locations near you.
Yep.
Any of the big locations, you talk about them, it will definitely put your not only your site into that local area, but also the topic that you're speaking about will be associated with that specific site. So if you want to talk about something that would really help your, let's say, your wedding industry, your wedding business, I would say immediately talk about any of the venues where you've done a wedding in the last year.
Sure.
Just talk about them, and you'll be surprised how many more click-throughs you'll get for that wedding page. So anyways,
absolutely.
Before we go any further, we got a lot more to go. Let's go ahead and take a quick break and hear from a couple of our sponsors.
Are you frustrated with slightly out of focus images when you know your autofocus spot was dead on? It's simply not your fault. From manufacturer to manufacturer, and even lens copy to lens copy, there are slight variances to the exact spot where light is being focused onto the sensor. Finally, there's a product that allows you to compensate for those variances and make sharper images immediately. Focus Pyramid, the autofocus lens calibration tool, is an absolute must for every photographer. If you want to make the sharpest images possible, then you need to take control over your camera's focusing system. With the Focus Pyramid, you can calibrate all of your lenses on your lunch break. The Focus Pyramid makes lens calibration quick and easy at an affordable price. So give your lenses a new lease on life and take your photography to the next level. Head over to focuspyramid.com/DPC and get an additional 10% off just for being a show listener. As photographers, we're always trying to increase sales and profits after every event.
We shoot an event and have hundreds or even thousands of images that just sit on our hard drives.
Perhaps a better workflow would increase sales by getting those valuable images in front of the client.
That's where ShootProof comes in. At shootproof.com, you can have an online gallery for all of your clients' proofing needs.
ShootProof helps increase profits while building your brand and securing your photos without charging commission fees on sales.
ShootProof galleries display your photos beautifully while helping to streamline your workflow and automate more of your business through their intuitive studio control panel.
Once approved, photos can be directly fulfilled through ShootProof's various professional lab partners or fulfilled by you.
All ShootProof plans have the same feature set. You simply choose the number of client photos stored, decide what products to sell, and the price.
Try ShootProof today by taking advantage of their free 30-day trial offer.
As a Digital Photography Cafe viewer, ShootProof is offering a 20% discount off any of their premium plans by using promo code DPC20 at checkout.
ShootProof, Upload, share, sell, print. All right, so Joe, we're back. And, we haven't talked lately about our wonderful fans who have written reviews for us on iTunes, which we greatly appreciate.
Very much so.
So, we wanted to just give a quick little shout out to somebody by the name of Duck Bar. That was the name on iTunes there for their recent comment. And I'm going to say he said, I love Digital Photography Cafe. Every episode is filled with useful information. And he gave us a 5-star review. We greatly appreciate that for sure.
Thank you so much. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. That it helps us out a lot. It helps our rankings, obviously, in iTunes, but it just helps us. It makes us feel kind of good.
It makes us feel good. Lets us know we're going down the right road.
Yeah. Hopefully someone's listening and they're enjoying the show. So that's great.
That's right. So thank you, Duck Bar.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. So anyway, this week I wanted to kind of talk to you guys about, something that, kind of give you guys a challenge, something to play with if you haven't done in the past. A little, with summertime, sometimes a good project helps, kind of focus your mind on something. So, I've got some questions about, people know that I do, professional portrait photography for actors, actresses. That's like my mainstay, I guess, my bread and butter, my meat and potatoes kind of thing. Yep. So I always get, what lens do you use? What do you use for that? What did you use for this and whatnot? And I wanted to talk about it a little bit because the lens is important, but there's other aspects of the portrait photography that is important also, and you need to take into consideration. So a couple of things that I kind of wanted to talk about was number one, the lens that you use, it's usually the lens that you have in your kit, is basically what you end up using. But, if you have the choice of using different lenses, for me, I like shooting portraits anywhere between 85 to, 105, somewhere around there. That's like my favorite spot. As far as the lens goes itself, I usually shoot like a 70 to 200 because I like that lens a lot. But, besides the lens stuff, which is important, it's the interaction with the client, which is even more important, right, Trev?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, you want to be able to interact with the client. You want to be able to get close to the client. I mean, a lot of people will say, oh, use a 50 or something so you can get in nice and close and really interact with them. You can help them pose or what have you. But there is also something to be said about personal space.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I don't want anybody right up in my grill. I mean, it's just, back up a little bit, tell me what to do. I mean, everybody's a little different. Some people are touchy-feely, and I'm not really that touchy-feely type of person, so I don't want people touching and feeling me.
Yeah. See, and I'm the exact opposite.
And you're the opposite. Yeah. You like groping people,
I get in there and I'm going to warn people before I touch them and move them, manipulate them and all that stuff.
Buy them a little dinner first.
I am in there. Exactly. Buy them a glass of wine. But, that's just, that's my personality. I just like that really tight interaction. But,
sure.
Just like you said, it's very, very important. Everyone has a different tolerance of closeness, how close someone can be to you, before
my son has not figured that out.
There you go.
He will be 2 inches from my nose and talk at the top of his lungs. It's like, dude, back up.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, for me, there is, there's a comfort zone. There's a place where you as a photographer are too far away, where you basically have, lost your client, where they have just now, detached from you.
Yeah.
They are now kind of, looking at the shiny objects around the room. And then there's an area where you're just simply too close and they're just kind of, uncomfortable and they can't relax and, give you some really great, features, the idea of a good portrait photographer is to capture the person how they want to be captured. I know it kind of sounds weird, but usually before doing a portrait shoot for like a model or actress or an actor, we say, we have like a little interview time together, and we say, okay, so with this image, how do you want to be perceived? So maybe they're going to be using it for a road trip that they're doing, and now it's going to be on a billboard, let's say, or maybe they're going to use it for a cover to a DVD that they're releasing, and they're a musician or whatever. Where are you going to use it, and how do you want to be perceived? And that's how I shoot it. So if they have that one look that they're looking for, I need them to get into that character, and they need to be comfortable with the distance for me, and they need to be comfortable that I understand what they want, and that I'm trying to obtain that. So that's very, very important. But back to the lenses. The idea of using a long lens in comparison to a short lens. There's been a lot of talk about compression and using long lenses to compress the folks so that they don't look wide and distorted. It's true, not true. It works, doesn't work. It just depends on the circumstance. For me, I really like right around 90 millimeters to 150 is about like my sweet spot. I like that area, and that's why a lot of times I'll shoot like a 70 to 200 because
that's a big lens.
It's a big lens, and it's heavy, and that's one of the issues. I like that lens because I can get in really tight and do head only, or I can pull back a little bit at about a 70 and get, a nice quote unquote headshot. So
right.
I like that lens a lot, but it is heavy. If you guys have, tried a 7200, I would recommend, if you don't have one and you want to purchase a 7200, if you're going to be shooting portraits, don't go with a 2.8 because there's a ton of glass in it. Go with a 4.0. The 4.0 is a lighter version of the exact same lens. It might even be sharper than the 2.8. In some instances it is. And it's lighter, and it's just an absolute beautiful lens, and it works out perfect. If you guys are shooting, some headshots, but also wanting to do some full body, try a 24 to 70. That works out really well.
Yep.
I like that a lot.
What I use? I have an 85 millimeter EF lens that I use on a crop sensor. So that actually turns into like a 105 or something
about
like
105,
that.
somewhere around there.
But that actually is a nice lens for me because it does give me the ability to get in a little closer, but without being too close, and get a nice tight headshot. But yet it does give me the ability to step back a little further, and it's a prime lens. So, I'm not zooming in and out on it. And actually, I really like it. It's nice and sharp. It's a great portrait lens.
The 85 is a beautiful, Canon's 85. Beautiful lens. Yeah. So, if you're shooting something handheld, if you're doing, like, for example, I'm doing something that's going to be seen very large, many times I'll use either a monopod if I want to stay mobile, or I'll shoot on a tripod. I hate tripods.
You're not really a big fan of shooting on tripods.
I hate tripods. It just, for me, there's a disconnect. As soon as I throw my camera on a tripod, I've disconnected. Now all of a sudden it just doesn't work. I am more mobile. So I like to wander around. So, if you guys are like me and you're wandering around with one of these long, heavy lenses, you really need to make sure that, you shoot it at, there's always this rule of, let's say there's a lot of rules, but really what works is really what works for you the best. Everyone talks about, doubling the speed, shooting at, twice your focal length and blah, blah, blah. All that, for me, I call it a Java rule. If you had 1 cup of coffee, you might want to shoot at, twice the speed. If you have 2 cups of coffee, maybe you're going to be triple the speed to be able to hold it, steady. And everyone can hold a lens, at a different rate. During my heyday, I used to be able to hold at a 30th and get rock solid images. Now I really, I can't. I'm probably at a 50th and I'm pretty, I could come up with some pretty good images. So, it's really up to you, but the most important thing is getting things rock solid that you want rock solid. You don't want to get any kind of vibration. Then, after the fact, the blur where there shouldn't be blur and it's motion blur. God forbid. That will ruin a portrait.
No, that's not good.
The main thing is really, pick the lens and try different things, because if you don't know what lenses do, there's no way for you to choose a lens. And, asking a pro that, has been doing it for a long time can only tell you what works good for him. For example, I love a quick 50. I love to throw on a 1.2 or 1.4 50 millimeter and start doing some headshot work. The the look of that lens just has a really pleasing look to it. It really looks nice.
Sure.
I love it.
Yep.
But the next guy will say, I don't like it. And maybe it distorts a little bit towards the nose.
It distorts. It's not quite as sharp as what they want or whatever. Yeah.
A long lens will reduce almost all distortion in the face, which helps a lot. The shorter lenses, you will get some, distortion. You'll get some creep. The beauty, though, is if you're using Lightroom or one of these other packages, those packages can, let's say, accommodate for that
Yeah, they
distortion.
can help fix some of that stuff.
So, it's not like it used to be. It's not necessarily that big of an issue. So anyways, A challenge to you guys. If you're shooting some portraits, don't use the lens that you always use. Use every other lens in your kit and shoot the exact same picture with that person. And, go back to your normal lens because that's what you're comfortable with. But then look at those pictures after the fact in Lightroom or whatever you're using and see what you get out of it.
Yeah.
You will be surprised. You might find a lens that you might not have ever thought would be your favorite portrait lens and might turn into your favorite portrait lens really quickly. One of them that I really like a lot is a Tamron 90. I love that. It's a straight 2.8 Tamron 90 millimeter on a full frame. That thing is just bleeding sharp, absolutely beautiful, and things are flat.
Nice.
They really look nice. So anyways, like I said, everyone will have their favorite lens. Really, if you want to spend some time, it's a great project to do. Shoot all of your lenses and shoot the exact same subject and see what you get. So
That's right.
I think it'll be something fun to do, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Good topic. And, even just to add to that real quick, if you're looking for a new lens, check out like Borrow Lenses or something like that and try a couple different things before you buy if you're looking for something new. I mean, a lot of emerging pros, you may only have one or two lenses, like good lenses. So, I would say don't go out and drop a lot of cash on a new lens without trying it first. And Borrow Lenses is a great way to go.
Yeah. And you know what? If you don't want to do that route, if you have a local camera store to you, a lot of these camera stores, they will actually allow you to come in with your body and test their lenses before buying one. So that's always an option. Bring, your girlfriend or your boyfriend with you and, try 3 or 4 lenses and take the exact same shot with these different lenses. They will be happy to accommodate you. If you drop it, you bought it, but but at least you can try these lenses. You don't have to bring them in and then send them back. So it's and a lot of people, they don't have a really nice camera company or a store near them anymore because they're evaporating,
Yeah. Yep.
But anyways, something cool that we're looking to kind of implement going forward, right?
Yeah. So I don't know, if you guys have been listening to the show for a while, back on episode 100, that was our anniversary episode, or birthday, whatever you want to call it.
Right.
And, it was a big landmark there. What we had done is we actually had a bunch of people that called into our voicemail line and, left some nice well wishes for us and everything. And then, of course, plugged their website and everything, which was great. And we were able to show those websites in the video version of the show. We went through some of the photographers' photos and everything.
Yeah, some
we
great
really
work,
enjoyed,
right? I mean, there was some amazing photographers' work that came in for that 100th episode.
That's right. And it's a great way for us to be able to share your work with our community.
Right.
So what we want to do is we want to maybe start like what we're calling like the feature photographer segment. And not necessarily going to be a weekly thing, but we kind of are looking to do it on a regular basis.
Right.
So, what we're asking is that, if you are a fan of the show and you really want to get your work out there, give our voicemail line a call. It's 440-345-6707. Leave a message. Be sure to include your name and your website URL. And then we'll play it on the show. And while it's playing, we'll show your website. We'll go through some of your photos, some of the ones that we like, and probably talk about it a little bit like we always do, comment on the photography and such. So
yeah. And it's a good way also for us to be able to give back and say thank you to you guys for
Absolutely.
just, being out there and watching. We'll be able to, at this point, show your work to thousands and thousands and thousands of people worldwide.
That's right.
And, maybe get you a little bit of exposure. I love that. It's a, give take type of thing. And,
Sure.
I love to be able to give back to you guys. I think it's just a great way to do it because we're all visual, right? We want to see pictures. We want to see your work. We love to hear your voice, but we want to see your work. We want to see what you do. So,
just call in, tell us, who you are, the type of photography that you do, what your specialties are, how long you've been in business, things like that.
Right.
Some people are a little uncomfortable talking about themselves. So if you don't want to do that approach, call in with a photography tip or a business tip. Share a tip with us with your domain name, and we'll just show your website during your audio. So I think it'll be cool.
Absolutely. Love it.
All right. So it's that time. We are out of here.
We are done.
So Joe, if people want to connect with you outside of DPC, what's the best way to reach you?
Find me on Twitter. That'd be @JosephChristina, and that's Christina without an H.
Great. And you can connect with me on Twitter. I'm always on there. It's @TrevorCurrent.
All right, everyone, we are out of here. You can get show notes from this episode by visiting digitalphotographycafe.com/111. And don't forget, if you enjoyed the show, share it with your photo community and give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Send your questions and comments to comments@digitalphotographycafe.com or simply call 440-345-6707. And we will see you next week.
You've been watching the Digital Photography Cafe show with Trevor Curran and Joseph Christina. Be sure to subscribe to the show for free in iTunes or through RSS. You can also listen on Stitcher and TuneIn Radio and watch in HD on TiVo. Visit digitalphotographycafe.com for show notes and to connect with your hosts.